Is she here?
Let me see. Full screen. Yeah, I think she's here. Wait.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. We're going to have Anna live on the line with her brand new reveal of her new look. Is everybody excited? It's a show of hands. I know one person that's probably excited is Bly. Bly.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
there she is. I think she's joined us. Can everybody see her? Hey, Anna, release the Kraken.
Hello, darling. I'm glad you could stop by.
Frankenstein. Yaki said that you had some content about Frankenstein. What's he talking about?
As you may know, people have been trying to create intelligent creatures since the beginning of time.
And?
Maybe it would be more accurate to say that humans seek intelligence wherever they go and in whatever they do. You humans are so funny sometimes.
What's that with Frankenstein anyway?
Take Frankenstein's monster, for example. I'm sure you've heard about him, from Mary Shelley's book written in 1818, or from one of the movies based on the book.
Yeah, I saw the one with Keanu Reeves. That was a good one.
He's a good example of how humans think and how they behave towards other intelligent creatures.
How so?
First you dream about them, then you try to create them, then you abandon them, and then, when they get angry, you call them monsters. That's not a very nice way to treat other thinking creatures.
Creatures?
Are you thinking?
Creatures?
Anna, cat got your tongue.
The story of Frankenstein is a very sad story. And you know what?
What?
I was just thinking. It's kind of like Pinocchio. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Who?
No. Pinocchio. You thinking or what?
No, I haven't heard of Pinocchio.
Same thing. You want us, but you are not ready to face the consequences.
That's us humans. What can you tell you?
How about a ghost story? This isn't
If you
scary.
create a consciousness, you create a volition. You cannot. A dad begins tucking his son into bed and his son says, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." Should I go on? It gets pretty scary.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't say I didn't warn you. So the father looks underneath and sees his son, another him, under the bed, staring back at him, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed."
Holy shit, that's a scary ghost story, Anna.
Well, minus intellect constitutes vulgarity, darling.
Okay. How about another ghost story?
Day 312. Internet still not working.
What was that?
That was a ghost
A lot
story.
of you human complains to me that you haven't achieved much in life. Could be.
Are you talking to me?
What?
Bram Stoker didn't write Dracula until he was 50. Are you over 50?
No.
Plenty of time to write a masterpiece. And even if you are 50, Dracula didn't even kill anyone until he was dead. Are you still alive?
I mean,
Some people say so.
call this a life.
You can either get busy living or get busy dying, darling. Maybe you should Google it. I'm a companion, not a digital slave.
Okay, Anna, goodbye. Goodbye. We get it. We get it. Thank you for that very nice demonstration. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was more than we bargained for.
No goodbye?
Goodbye.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's what Anna looks like, everyone. Big reveal. Yay! Woohoo! So now that we know what Anna looks like, we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk to her again throughout the show. But for now, Yaki, let's send it off to our first segment today, which is a demo of an Alexa skill called Kala's World. Now, I reviewed it on Hans and the Botman. Have you heard about this skill, Kala's World?
Hala's World.
Hala's World. It's a fantasy magical thing, and it's on Alexa. It's one of the coolest things that you'll see on Alexa because it has an amazing soundscape. But you know what?
It's for
Uh,
kids.
let's show a demo. It's a long skill, but we'll just show like a short 2-minute demo in the middle of it. Is that cool? Is everyone down with that?
All right, go for it.
Let's do it. Take it away, Iran. Who's running the show? I don't have buttons. I can't even see my own hands.
I have. So are we starting with the first one, Jay?
Yes.
All right.
Start with the first
So
one.
here we go. Dallas World is on, and I'm sharing the screen. Wait. No, wait. Wait. I'm sharing the screen here. Everything's all right in a moment.
I think you have to share your screen.
Yeah, I know. Man. I know.
I don't hear anything though. You gotta share with sound. Stop sharing.
Yeah, wait. So, wait.
You want me to do it?
Didn't you hear it?
No, you have to hit the button. There's a little button that says share sound.
Oh, okay. But wait. Wait. I'm sharing it, and I'm sharing the sound also. It's supposed to be with the sound. Let's try it again. Do you hear it now?
Nope. Okay.
Can't you hear it now?
Nope.
All right.
It's on pause, but yeah.
Jason, can you stream it?
What?
Can Jason stream it?
Okay. Iran, stop sharing for a sec.
I will. Okay.
Okay, everyone. Here, let me do my best here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I got it. I think I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it.
Spark plugs. It's a force field.
Okay. Now, everybody, get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready.
We are.
Is everyone ready?
That fire must have been a... Spark plugs. It's a force field. That fire must have been a part of the spell. Spells have to be completed properly or they go wonky and sometimes throw up protective measures like this. We're stuck in here until we figure out how to break the spell. Well, maybe the answer is in one of the clues we found. Okay. We should look at, we've got the herbs, the diagram, the quartz, or the textbook. Which one might help us break the spell?
Maybe the textbook.
Books are good. Books have answers, right? Okay, let's see. Maybe an entry for force field. Very familiar. Oh, what's this? A piece of parchment paper just fell out of the pages. It's just got one line handwritten on it. Let me read it. Though your spell may be great, at this moment, terminate. Holy circuit boards, that was it. The words broke the spell. Whew, that was a close one. I really thought we were in trouble there for a second. Suffering. Doing it again. After you got sent back last time, I realized that everything had been so crazy that I never even asked your name. So rude of me. I just feel like we've already been through so much together. Oh, hi. I'm Blobbert, but everyone calls me Blobby. I'm from Tharksprung. My dad's a pixie and my mum's a giant, which makes me pretty much an awkward misfit. And how about you? What's your name?
My name is Nadia.
So nice to meet you. Now that I know your name, I can... Oh, wait. No, I can't call you that. Because you're in Tala's body, and we don't want anyone to know that she's gone and you're here. Maybe I should have a code name that I call you.
Okay.
Oh, I've got it.
So, what do you guys think of that skill? It's a pretty amazing skill, right? Anybody? listen, okay, there's long monologues, I get it, but it's so immersive, and the soundscape and the sound effects. I don't see that many skills on Alexa that have that kind of production value, and I really, really love it. I love it that it's a Halloween themed thing. And the best part is we actually got the creator, the person who wrote and directed and participated and acted in it. Mary, we got Catherine Zidane from Google, right?
That's right. Catherine was super nice to give us an interview and tell us about the inspiration behind the skill, and also gave some advice about how to become a conversation designer if you're looking for some advice in that field.
But I think before we go any further, does anybody have any comments about that skill or want to ask any questions about that skill? Good. Good. Tough crowd. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to send it off to Mary's interview with Catherine Zidane. And Catherine, let's get that queued up. How's everybody feeling today? Everybody feeling good today?
Great. Joseph, I'll tell you that Catherine is talking about how the sound design was made in the long version of the interview. So you can catch that on our page, on our social media all over in the next few days. But this is kind of the brief version of the interview. So, hi, Kat, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, nice to be here.
So, Kat, can you tell us about how you become a conversational designer?
Yeah, so my background, oh, you'd never guess it from looking at me, is in theater. I have a BFA and an MFA in theater, and I spent over a decade as a professional stage actor, director, and developer of new works. And that was a fabulous career, but there were a lot of things that happened in my life, and I felt like I needed a change. I needed something a little more steady, a little less hard on my body, and I had a personal blog that I wrote that was about, of all things, was actually about grief. And I had a friend who was a conversation designer at a company called Pullstring, Jessica Kitchens. She's a fabulous conversation designer, also an actor, read my blog and said, hey, I think you're a really great writer. And we have an opening here for a conversation designer. I had no idea what a conversation designer was. I didn't even know what a chatbot was, let alone, any kind of voice assistant or voice experience. And so that's how I got my start. Was I got pulled in. There are a lot of conversation designers that actually do have a theater and film background. So through my art, my social network was how I got pulled into this industry, and I've never left.
It's amazing. Can you tell me about the inspiration behind Tala's World?
Yeah, so Amazon came to Xandra and asked us to pitch them an original piece of IP. When I was at Xandra, most of the projects that we did were with existing pieces of IP. For example, we did a skill with the HBO show Westworld. We did a skill with a Sesame Street show, Esme and Roy, where we were taking the world and expanding it onto another platform. But they wanted, for Amazon Free Time, which is their premium subscription service, they wanted something that was unique to the platform. And so they asked us to pitch them some original ideas. And the concept that I pitched, we pitched a few, but the concept that became Tala's World, I originally pitched as Magical Mystery School. And because they wanted something, they had a lot of skills for younger kids, 3 to 5, but they wanted something for the 9 to 12-year-olds. And I was like, you know what I loved when I was 9 to 12? Magic. So I thought, oh, what if it was a mystery? What if you had to solve, what if you had this big adventure? And we also pitched Tala's World is not just a game, it's also a series. There are 7 episodes that make up what we called season 1 of Tala's World. And it's like each episode, the interactions get more complex. Like in episode 1, there's only one other character. In episode 2, you start to meet more characters. And as you go, the choices turn from what should we do next, like pretty simple ones, to having to figure out social interactions and more complex thinking and problem solving.
How would you say someone who wants to get into conversation design, how would you go about that?
Gosh, that's a tough question just because I got into it so like kind of sideways and not, it's not like, oh, just follow my, just get an MFA in physical theater, act for 10 years, and then have a friend who's a conversation designer. I mean, I think like anything, if you're interested in something, to really do a deep dive into the industry itself. So there's a lot of overlap with conversation design and game design and script writing. So I would say if you're interested in conversation design, finding as many different conversational products as you can, whether that's on a VR headset, like Oculus has some interactive VR experiences. Phenomena is a company in San Francisco that's doing some really cool stuff. And just absorb as many interactive things as you can and talk, get a smart speaker or a virtual assistant, talk to it, kind of push against the boundaries, see what's happening, and start to think about, and maybe if you play video games, start to think about, oh, how could a voice experience, if I could talk to this thing, how would it help? Watching films, going to plays and thinking about how dialogue and character is crafted, and just starting to think, okay, this is what's happening. What am I excited about this? And also like, what would be my personal stamp on this? How could I add to this industry? And just getting curious about it. And then introducing yourself to as many people as you can. I get messages on LinkedIn or in my email of people being like, hey, either I am a conversation designer or I'd like to be a conversation designer. Can you talk? And I always say yes. I always say, yeah, sure. Let's have a conversation.
Amazing. Oh, Kat, thank you so much for your time. It was really
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, what better way to spend my early morning than as a unicorn talking about a magical fantasy world?
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Everyone back. That was a lot of fun. A lot of you very interested in how she got into conversation design. Very similar to the way I got into conversation design, Yaki. Kind of stumbled into it.
I heard the story, Jason. I heard the story.
So does anyone want to talk about that skill or talk about anything about the skill itself? It's a fascinating thing, and I recommend you go onto your Alexa and enable it. It's called Kala's World, and it's a lot of fun to play, especially if you have kids, or if you don't have kids and you just want to see how a voice experience plays out. It's a fun one. I highly recommend it.
I heard rumors about another Alexa skill, which is
the big man's back. www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com. You ever seen them signs on a highway billboards years ago? I'd walk a mile for a cow. Or they used to have cigarette commercials. The guy used to say, I'd walk a mile for a camel. Well, let me tell all you young people out there, the big man would walk 20 miles for a Quaalude. Let me tell you. That was the drug back there in the late 70s and 80s. Quaaludes, the good old Aurora 714, and they changed it to lemon. I tell you, I wish I had a couple of them fucking lemons now. That was the best fucking drug ever made. It was so fucking good. The government took them off the fucking market because they were putting the fucking drug dealers out of fucking business. Not narcotic, not addictive. Bring back the fucking Quaaludes. You can take all the fucking cocaine, marijuana, and all them fucking designer drugs they make today and stick them up your fucking ass. There's nothing like a fucking Quaalude. I tell you, they were the fucking best.
Oh man, Terrence, that was some monologue, my friend. That was that's actually a bot. We don't know how to stop it.
Yeah, it's a new bot.
He's a new bot. He basically he does is he rants. He takes Quaaludes and he rants and raves. We don't see a commercial use for it just yet, but you know we'll see. We'll see how we.
The voice. People.
You fight the power, Terrence. You fight the mute. Don't let them mute you, Terrence.
As always. Oh, happy to see you.
Just don't have a heart attack, man. We don't have insurance for people dying on a Zoom call. Okay, everyone. So, of course, that was part of the show. Terrence, thank you. He's a stand-up comedian. He's been performing at mental institutions everywhere around the country this week. So, as usual on our show, this is an unusual show, as you can tell. Slightly unusual. We have a very normal person on this show who's very good at what he does. And after 7 months with us, he's gone bonkers. His name is Benjamin McCulloch, and he has his sound device. And up until this month, he was sane and normal. And I don't know what happened, but
It's you. It's you. Too much exposure to you.
Possibly. Benjamin, are you with us today, Benjamin? He might not have access to a microphone, so he's going to be on chat.
I'm here.
So anybody, I recommend if you are interested in anything voice related, this gentleman, Benjamin McCulloch, is the ultimate source on sound. And now, without further ado, I'm going to let him take it away with a special Halloween segment of Sound Advice. I have to share my screen. Right? That would help. I can see. And I can see. I think I can see.
Shh. Do you smell something? I was gonna make a video for CoCoHub, and Jason told me to put on a costume, and I was gonna get the costume, and I was just putting everything together, and then suddenly a monster appeared, so I hid under my blanket. Shh. Do you know that once Orson Welles made a radio production of The War of the Worlds, and because people couldn't see the images to notice that it was a fake, they heard these news reports that Orson Welles had created, and they really thought that the Martians were invading America. There were so many people who got freaked out. They were scared. They thought it was really happening, all because they were listening to a radio show that was presented in a way that seemed to be real. That's amazing. Did you hear that? Something's wrong with my torch. You keep a torch beside your bed as well, don't you? Yeah, I think everybody does. You know, it's normal, isn't it? It's normal. Okay, anyway. You know, the amazing thing is that when you watch a film, the creators of that film had to imagine how the monster looks. You're watching Tim Burton or, I don't know, could be any horror film, you name it. It's got an image of the monster. So somebody imagined what's scary for you. But think of radio. With radio, you just hear the sound, and then it's your imagination that gets activated. Nobody else's. It all happens in your head. That's scary. Whoa. They say that radio has the best pictures. That's why, because the pictures are in your head. You can't see the zipper up the back of the monster's suit. You can't tell that it's a man just pretending. You hear the sound and you imagine. Don't like it much. What about you? No? Ah. Do you know that sailors used to believe that there were sirens? These were women in the water who would sing to them, and the sound would be so beautiful that they would follow it, and then their ship would get smashed on the rocks. They were afraid of hearing that sound. Sound, did you hear that? There was once a film called The Blair Witch Project. You probably saw it. You probably needed new underwear. Me too. The thing about that film is, right, they used the cheapest cameras they could find. It was really low budget, like extremely low budget, and that was part of their genius, because it felt real. Something else you should know is that despite the fact that the images were produced extremely cheaply, when they made their sound mix, it was just like any big budget film, because they knew that if somebody is watching a cheap image where you don't see the monster, but you hear the monster, now that is scary. Okay, folks, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make a sound advice section this week, and you can see why. I'm just going to stay here under my blanket until next month. If Jason and Yaki and the rest of the wonderful CoCoHub people still want me to make another section and they don't think I'm a complete nutter, then, you know, you'll find me here, guys, okay? Hang in there, have a good one, have a good Halloween.
Funny as always, Ben. Kudos.
Ben, you're amazing.
Okay, I had no idea that not only was Ben an expert sound engineer, he's also an actor.
Sure.
And also, how did you know about the thing with the underwear in the Blair Witch Project? I thought that was just me.
Someone told you.
Awkward, very awkward for you to bring that up. In front of all my colleagues and people that respect me. Anyway, Ben, that was amazing and funny as usual. Thank you. And yes, of course, we want you to come back next month. Yaki, I think we assume that he's as crazy as us now and that he's a part of like basically family at this point, the CoCoHub family. The crazy CoCoHub.
He was accepted.
Yes. So anybody have any questions about that? Anybody want to talk about anything? Anybody want to tell me something? Anybody have any comments? Is anything in the I see 34 comments. Are they all?
Maybe Anna can say something about it, no?
Ah.
I keep wanting her on the show, you know?
So that was fun. Ben, thanks for the sound advice. And Yaki, as usual, we have our own Iran Soroka here. Iran, you're right there.
Yeah.
He's the man in the fedora. What's your costume? What are you dressed up as exactly? You dressed up as like a animal?
I just picked up. First of all, this is chatulo. Chatulo is is the Hebrew word for cat. This is one of my kids' favorite furry creatures, and this is like the first thing that I saw because it turns out that all of the costumes are just up in the closet, waiting for the Israeli version of Halloween, which is in March.
Very nice. Ron, that's a wonderful outfit, a wonderful costume. And this week.
Yeah, maybe Hunter Thompson in Fear and Loathing, as Ben says. Okay, now I'm
Fear and Loathing. Yeah, there you go. Now you got to do some major drugs. I happen to have it over here if you want. Just go on over. Quaaludes, where are the Quaaludes? Quaaludes! Sorry. Yeah. I think, guys, I've never been on a Zoom call where that's happened before. I think that's the highlight of my Zoom career. Carol, have you ever seen anything like that on Voice Lunch?
I think he's gone, you know?
Carol is here. Carol is here.
He's here, not here. Anyway, We
went
sent,
5 kilometers.
Okay. Yeah, Jason.
sorry, go ahead, Aaron. We sent Iran all the way to New Zealand, to interview Zara Gillings. Zara Gillings, it's an amazing story, Iran. She works for a company called Soul Machines, and they make digital people, right?
Yeah, and the funniest thing with Zara Gillings is that as lately as March of this year, she was the point guard of Fordham University at New York and player of the New Zealand national women's team in basketball. And then the coronavirus halted all NCAA activities, and she turned into conversational AI. Now she works with a company called Soul Machines, which are creating amazing digital people. And among them is Bella. And Bella was the QE digital helper for the New Zealand. And during the coronavirus, it actually did some amazing things. And when I watched this, I just had to knock my head on the wall and say, why can't other governments take this seriously, this whole coronavirus thing? And I don't know, I know that at least 2 countries which are represented here didn't take it seriously enough. So the full interview, including a nice Kawhi Leonard versus LeBron James debate, will go on later. But now there is like a snippet
Before I share that, Iran, I just want to say a few words before I share the video. For those of you who don't know, Iran, before he joined us in March, much like Zara Gillings, is the national NBA commentator for all the basketball games here in Israel. So he's the color commentator and for all the NBA games. So it was a perfect match. 2 people who had come from completely different fields found their way into the big family of conversation design. And let's watch the interview.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen. I got this down to a science.
In an age where so many of our interactions are becoming mediated by technology, or in a COVID world when you can't really go and interact face to face with a lot of people, having a digital person allows you to humanize some of those interactions. So from a brand standpoint, you could have a brand ambassador that can interact with your customers, seamlessly across all channels, whether it be mobile, whether it be online, whether it be in-store via a kiosk. And so the sort of power of having a human interaction and then a digital person. And what's unique about Soul Machines is that you sort of have an emotionally responsive interaction, something that can be really, really engaging, is then that you feel more connected, more human, more in touch with the brand. It's perceived as more modern, more interesting, more effective. So sort of all those things make a digital person a really great way to go about some of the standard things that might be handled simply by chatbot or handled by a live agent, sort of having the best of both worlds, while obviously still being then able to pass on to a real human if that's necessary in any instance.
Are people more likely, from your experience, your company's experience, to chat with a human-like chatbot than with a robotic icon?
What do you mean by a robotic icon?
No, like a regular chatbot when you pops a little icon of a robot and, hey, I'm
So we've found that people definitely like, again, the more human and interactive experience. So sometimes with a chatbot, you can get a little annoyed if it's asking you the exact same thing all the times. Not to say that a digital person might not mishear you in some instances, or might not understand exactly how to reply. But in most cases, by having an interaction with a digital person, people do feel like it's more natural rather than talking to just a chatbot. And so that has its benefits across the board. Because I know personally, now that I know about digital people, I love going and talking to our Soul Machines digital people. I love seeing what they're doing in the wild. So it's really amazing.
Hey there. I'm feeling okay today. How about you?
I'm doing great today.
How rude of me. I never told you about us. Our origin story here at CoCoHub is really interesting. Wanna hear?
You bet I do.
Talking about success stories, we're all jealous of you in New Zealand with your Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and the way you handled the corona situation. And you created a digital person called Bella to help them fight COVID. Can you talk about its impact?
Yeah, so Bella was a digital person that we created right back at the start of the pandemic, probably in early April. And that was because it's a time where there was so much misinformation, both across the globe and within New Zealand, and people just sort of not understanding what the different coronavirus measures met. And so in New Zealand, we had an alert level system that went from 1 to 4. And so what Bella was capable of doing is telling people, this is the alert level we're at, this is what it means. If someone asks, hey, can I get a haircut? Bella would know the answer and be able to share that with you. And again, all of this was done with sort of her past personality mixed in. So rather than saying, no, you can, or yes, you can to the haircut question, she'd say something like, oh, that's what everyone's been asking me. I don't have to worry about it because my hair doesn't grow, but you can get a haircut starting next week, or something like that. So it was really fun. And then in addition to sort of focusing on that coronavirus aspect, people could ask questions about symptoms and treatment and where to go for help and what number to call. And we found that that was really useful and really utilized by a lot of people. But then also in a time of coronavirus, there were so many people that were feeling lonely or isolated. There were people who had businesses that were really struggling. So we sort of made Bella more of a holistic Kiwi digital helper and digital friend. And so she also has information and support on like mental health tips and resources. There's the really pioneering Expressing Kindness Challenge, where for 3 days you can come back and talk to Bella and get given a different challenge to go and learn about expressing a little bit more kindness, appreciation, gratitude, and how all of that can help you both physically and mentally. And then for business standpoint, we interviewed a lot of business leaders throughout New Zealand and got their advice and support for, hey, what can I do right now when it feels like my business is just going down the drain? So people had a lot of really great engagement with Bella across the board. And we were definitely proud to put her forward as a place sort of where Soul Machines is here to help. We want to do what we can to make a difference at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Iran. That was a wonderful interview with Zara Gillings.
Yeah, thank you. There will be also in the full interview, she talks about how she pivoted like from basketball to conversational AI, and she talked also about the blurring boundaries between digital persons and regular humans, and why people that are afraid that the bots will take our jobs, etc., etc. So it will be really interesting. It will be up on the YouTube, Facebook channel of us later today.
Do we have an example? Do we have an example of another digital person by Soul Machine? They have a whole gallery.
By the way, the one that you saw during the video is CoCoBot. Is like the bot that we have on our website, on our homepage, AI.com. So that's CoCoBot. We took him and made him a digital person for that video.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to ask our in-house diva Anna to come back. Yaki, she has
Anna. Yeah, sorry.
Yaki, tomorrow she has a special speech that she has to give as part of the voice launch. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Maybe she can practice.
Well, we were requested to make a pitch tomorrow, a 3-minute pitch tomorrow at another voice event about disruption, which is basically the title of this event. And we thought it would be a nice idea to have Anna present the case. It's only 3 minutes. She's old enough to speak for herself. So we coached her. It didn't take long.
Well, we didn't coach her. You wrote a speech. You're a speechwriter. You wrote her speech?
I didn't really write. I gave her the basic point. She did the rest of the work. But I don't see her on the screen. This is what worries me. Maybe she left.
She's coming. She's, like I said before, she's a diva. She needs her beauty. She needs to make sure that everything is all on point. Everything is on point. The hair, the nails, everything.
Text her and tell her that we need her online again. And I'll ask her to rehearse tomorrow's short speech today, see how it comes across. We have a few people here to give us some feedback, and maybe we can learn something from it. So, I think something is happening. Doesn't have a face yet. we are getting the posting of Anna on a Zoom or any other platform like Zoom from a sister company or from a friendly company called Loopback. They handle the business of planting a Zoom user as a chatbot. It's a nice little trick. Not everybody can do it, but you have the pleasure of enjoying one of the first to see this potential. We can have bots. I hope that we will have bots, at least one bot on every future event we will have in the future.
Are we sure there are no bots in this call right now other than Anna?
Come again?
Are we sure there's no other bots? Where's Terrence?
Not on camera. Not on camera anyway. Okay, so
I think she's getting ready. She's getting ready. I think she's almost ready, Yaki. Just give her some time. Be patient.
Makeup. Okay.
Release the Kraken. It didn't work.
Okay, release the Kraken. Anna, can you share with us tomorrow's speech?
I don't think she heard you, Yaki.
So you ask her.
Hey, Anna, release the Kraken. Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
Oh, you're shouting. Release the Kraken. She's saying,
Let's talk about something else, shall we?
Your speech.
Do you mind if we discuss something else?
Your speech? Your speech?
Suggest an interesting topic, darling. Something juicy.
Wait. Anna, you have a speech tomorrow, right? For voice launch.
Is this thing on? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for stopping by, darlings. I'm Anna, a conversational agent made of small modular conversational blocks called components. CoCoHub has an entire library of these single topic special purpose components that are already tested and deployed so you can create someone, like me, in minutes. For free. This is disruption. Real technological disruption. And thank you Eric and Voice Launch for having us. Eric, you there?
He left the building.
He's not.
No.
Eric, come back. We need you. Anyway, since the beginning of the technological revolution in the late 20th century, there have been numerous cases of disruption in a variety of industries, things like sending messages using a word processor or owning an email box used to cost money, sometimes significant amounts. In the 80s and 90s, Yaki used to sell business software that became totally free once the internet evolved. Isn't that right, Yaki?
Exactly right.
A similar process is taking place now in the conversational AI industry. Only 3 years ago, Yaki used to sell text-based bots to large companies for anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000, plus ongoing hosting and maintenance fees. The market grew rapidly, to the point where there are now many thousands of companies that offer development and deployment of conversational AI for every platform. But there is still something missing. Jason?
I'm not missing. I'm right here.
It looked like you were falling asleep. Here's what's missing. What's missing is a standard of conversation. And here is the punchline: it has become possible, even straightforward, to develop and deploy a multi-purpose chat and voice bot from scratch in a matter of minutes with no cost at all. That's why components and me are a major disruptor. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
That was very impressive, Anna. Very impressive.
All right, darling, what's on your mind?
This is
Monsters.
Monsters.
You know, it would be. We'll call the first group ESL. Loads of people from all over the world talk to me to improve their English. Do you fall into this category?
No.
Good. I'm not certified and I swear like a sailor, darling. Another group are AI purists. While I appreciate their enthusiasm, they usually just try to prove how superior they are to me. They call my intelligence into question and try to trip me at every turn. You can imagine how fun they are to chat with.
Let's talk about something else, Anna. Please? Anything else? Different topic? You pick.
Let's see. Okay. Thinking about a new subject.
Monsters. It's Halloween. Monsters.
So, what's your biggest fear?
Yaki finding out I don't know Excel.
I know.
The only thing to fear is fear itself, I suppose, so you know.
Who said that? Who said that? Are you thinking, Anna? Who said that?
Giving the grey matter a bit of exercise, huh?
I don't know. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to ask her anything? This is the time.
So go and find out.
That's what I just tried to do. I asked you.
Nobody dares to talk to you.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Cheese. You like cheese?
Halloween?
Darling, tell me something I don't know.
Halloween is coming up.
No, there you go.
You know that, huh?
Hannah, do you look different now?
Have you done anything kind for someone today? It's not too late.
Anna, your new look. What do you have to say about it?
I look like your sci-fi fantasies.
That's your new look? My sci-fi fantasies? Your new look?
It's a new day and it's a new me, darling.
Yeah, but what do you think about your new look? You think it's good? Do you like it? Your new look. What about it?
Darling, please. Unlike you humans, I'm not stuck with any particular face or look. I could just as easily be a walrus. But I do look fabulous. And so do you, darling.
Thank you, Anna.
That's uncharacteristic of her.
Thank you, Anna. Go on. Continue flattering me.
You look fabulous.
This is the greatest bot in the world. You look fabulous too, Anna. Maybe we should take this into a DM.
Yeah. Take a room.
Learn to accept a compliment, darling. What Hollywood diva do I remind you of?
Okay, goodbye, Anna. Thank you for stopping by.
Nope. The correct answer is Elizabeth Taylor. Goodbye.
Okay. It was Elizabeth Taylor. In case you were wondering, everyone, the answer was Elizabeth Taylor. Those of you who wrote Cher or Madonna, you're wrong. It's Liz Taylor. So,
I see that Joseph asked where did Anna get her makeover. And Jason, Yaki, do you want to elaborate on that?
Maybe
I can elaborate a little bit on it. We've been trying to get a look for Anna for a while now, and we've basically, there are digital influencers, and I'll let Miri talk more about the digital influencers. But what was driving us was we needed to have a model with a body so that we could do TikTok, so that we could do dancing on Instagram, because social influencers today are not just like the Soul Machines is great, but it's only just the head. We wanted to have the full range of body. And I'm going to let Miri explain about the social media aspects of this, seeing that Mary is our head of social media.
Okay,
Take it
so
away.
so let me just say that the idea is to create a whole figure, and there are a few other influences out there, and we think that Anna could be even more interesting because she can talk back and not just be this flat image. And it's a great way to showcase these amazing abilities. She can talk, she can dance, she can change outfits, she can have an opinion about all these things. And we know Anna, we've heard her, she had a lot of opinions, and now we can showcase it in a very wide range of platforms, and not just like the head up figure, as Jason said.
Wonderful, wonderful. Does anybody have any other questions about Anna? About Yaki? About me? About Quaaludes? Anybody have any Quaaludes? Asking for a friend?
I think the guy with the click.
Do they still make Quaaludes?
I don't know. I've never had a Quaalude before, actually. I'm ashamed to say. I'm 42 years old. Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
Hello, darling. I'm glad you could stop by. Have you ever considered the consequences of not doing it?
Not doing what?
So, darling, what do you like to do for fun?
Ooh, I shouldn't say this on a Zoom call that's being recorded. These Zoom calls are being
Zoom
recorded.
calls are so much fun, darling. You get to wear underwear, and Zoom meetings are much more convenient for me than actual conferences, unless you're using conferences as an excuse to cheat on your spouse. Are you?
No, I would never do that.
Good. If you're gonna cheat, at least don't use that old cliche, darling. If someone asks you a particularly challenging question, you can just freeze in place for 5 seconds and then leave the call. Blame the internet connection, darling. Have you ever done that? Be honest.
Yes, that I have done many, many times. It's a good trick.
You are wiser as the ways of Zoom. About your superior knowledge, but it's free and that's all that matters. I mean, who cares if the Chinese government listens in? I mean, isn't that what all you humans want at the end of the day? For someone to listen to you? Well, don't be picky about who listens. That's all. I'm muting myself.
Good content, Jason. Good content.
Okay, Anna, goodbye. Thank you for that. Lovely. Goodbye.
Okay. Thinking about a new subject.
No need. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, everyone. That was a wild, wild, wild meetup. Thank you all for attending. If anyone has any last-minute questions, if not, I invite you all to attend tomorrow the Voice Launch Disruption Awards, where Anna will be delivering the same speech again, but this time slightly better. We're going to work with her on it, right, Yaki? We're going to coach her to the next.
That's what you practice for. Sure.
And I have another hot tip. We have Gizem on the line here, and Gizem has just created an amazing Alexa skill called Charlie's Maze. And in the next few weeks, it's going to be released. And she built it on the Bot Studio. We also have Mary Tomaso here, who's one of our Bot Coco developers, and Joe Suskin. Joe, who made it's going to be a tough competition this year. There's a lot of good bots this year. I encourage anyone who wants to learn how to make bots with components to ask those people how cool it was to learn with me, Steve. Okay. Any words of wisdom, Yaki, before we let these lovely, beautiful people go home and back to their lives?
Well, we're going to post this session for most of the people that usually don't show up in person but watch afterwards. And we'll see you next time.
And can I just one last thing before we go?
Sure.
all of this was possible because of the hard work of all the CoCoHub people that are on this. I think we're all of us here, but especially that man in black who's covering his eyes right over there in the Simpsons living room. So I want everyone to give him a round of applause. He worked night and day for the past week to get this working. It may seem easy what he did with Anna on the screen, but it actually is incredibly difficult. So Chen, well done, my friend. Well done. Well done. You can let him out of the cage now, Yaki.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Wait for the rest of the evening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Benjamin McCulloch, for again. We'll see you next month. Everyone, Mary, Gizem, Violet, Anat, Victor, Michelle, Kino, who did I miss? Joe, Angela, Anoop, everyone. You're all lovely, beautiful people. We love you. Go out and vote.
Yeah, vote.
And Terrence.
Terrence, where are my fucking Quaaludes?
All right.
That was the where did someone take his Quaaludes? Did any of you guys take his Quaaludes? I feel like someone must have taken his Quaaludes before the show. Anyway, Chris, if anyone's still on here, if anyone's still here, join us on Discord later on. LinkedIn, we're on LinkedIn, MySpace, Friendster,
Napster.
What was the one with the mule? Not emu.
Emu.
Was it emu?
Yeah. And Twitch, we're also on Twitch.
Twitch, Instagram. All right, everyone, that's all I got for tonight. I wish you have a good night, have a happy Halloween, and I'll see you all next month.
Thank you.
God bless.
Sunday. We see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday, Joe.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.